What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the office jungle. Today we have a new type of video. We're doing a species highlight. We're talking about, that's right, crested geckos. We're going to talk about everything crested gecko, what they are, how to keep them, how much it costs to keep them. Everything about crested geckos you're going to learn right here. So let's dive into it. Let's figure out what a crested gecko is. Scientific name, Corlophus sigillatus. How cool is that? Native born to New Caledonia. The crested gecko, also known as the eyelash gecko, was first described in 1866 by French zoologist Alphonse Gouchenot, probably. However, they were presumed extinct after their initial description and were not seen again until 1994. My birth year, by the way. They were in New Caledonia, they were sitting down, and then out of nowhere a crested gecko fell, and they said, "What the heck is this thing? I thought this thing was extinct." And then now they're damn everywhere. The IUCN considers crested geckos to be vulnerable. One of the biggest threats to wild crested geckos is the introduced little fire ant, which swarms the geckos and competes for food. So they're getting killed by fire ants? That's gnarly. Little is known about the wild population of the crested gecko. It is estimated that the entire wild population is in a space around 1,600 kilometers squared, which is a little over half the size of Rhode Island. It's a little tiny area. After being rediscovered, crested geckos were brought into captivity and soon became popular to the pet trade. They are easy to care for, have a wide range of colors and patterns, and can live for 15 to 20 years or longer. That's what's cool about crested geckos. They can live a long time. So here are some cool pictures of crested geckos. Crested geckos, they usually lose their tail here and they get a little frog butt because their tails don't grow back. So most crested geckos in captivity have no tail. Mine has its tail still, which is kind of anxiety inducing because I don't want it to lose its tail. This is what it looks like when they lose their tail. They got the little frog booty. I like that they have a tail, and it gives me anxiety that it could fall off at one point because it is like they could use it as climbing. It's got a little sticky pad at the end of the tail, so it is like useful to them. So let's hop onto Morph Market, see what kind of crested geckos we could find here. Let's search by the highest price. See the most expensive one. $6,000 sable lily white crested gecko. Now this is an awesome crested gecko. Look at this thing. $6,000 worth? I'm not sure. I know people used to make tons of money selling crested geckos back in the day, but I just don't think they do anymore. Look at this one, $4,000. It's got like pink and white. It's got a little frog butt. This one's cool. But $4,000 is a little high for me. Look at this orange ass one. Wait, is this a crested gecko? I guess this is. Oh, it's a mix between a crested and Chihuahua. How did they do that? Does its tail grow back? Guys, write in the comments if you know if their tails grow back if it's a crested cross with a Chihuahua. $3,800. So yeah, as you can see, these things get pretty damn expensive. Let's see if we could find one. Let's see the lowest price one. $1 you could get. So you could get a crested gecko for $1 here. Look at this thing. This looks kind of wild to call. It looks a little skinny. Honestly, that looks like Tanner, which I paid $70 for. So as you can see, you can get crested geckos for very cheap. It's usually like these Harley Quinn, Dalmatian, Flame, Tiger, Pinstripe, Morphs. But you could get them for pretty dang cheap. As you can see, you could get them for super expensive or super cheap, from as low as $1 to as high as $6,000 for the same animal. Just looks cooler, I guess. So now let's look at the crested gecko enclosure requirements. So if you want to get a crested gecko, what you're looking for here. Crested geckos need a tall enclosure with lots of vertical space for climbing, and the size of the enclosure should vary based on the gecko's age and size. So they're saying for hatchlings, a small container like a plastic shoebox is suitable for hatchlings up to 6 months old. I'm not the type of guy that would put a lizard in a plastic shoebox or a small container. I still think I'm building out like a 10-gallon vertical tank for a crested gecko. I just don't like the plastic shoebox model. For juveniles, a 20-gallon tank is recommended for juveniles. Geckos over 6 months old. That's about when I got my gecko. I think he was like about 6 months old. And now he's almost 2 years old. Adults, 20-gallon terrarium is the minimum for adult crested geckos, but a larger tank is better. 12 by 12 by 18 is ideal for housing 2 adults. Now this is definitely wrong. I think you want at least an 18 by 18 by 24 to house 1 adult. Not 2 adults, 1 adult. That's crazy. So this is AI telling us this. I don't know where AI got this idea from. Height, they want more height. That sounds right. Material, glass is preferred over wood because of the high humidity level requirement. A wooden vivarium could work if sealed properly and extra ventilation added. I mean, I guess a PVC would probably be the best, but okay. Ventilation, make sure there's ventilation, okay. Substrate, I use a paper towel on the bottom. So this is weird. I would never use paper towel in my enclosures. That's just weird to me. Seems doesn't seem right. I always go with a substrate, a bioactive substrate. That way, when it poops, pees, anything, any mold, the little springtails and isopods will eat it up. Enrichment, yep, branches and everything. Temperature 70, 78. So this is where everyone loves it because this is about how the temperature of your house. Sometimes it gets a little colder if you're a psychopath and you like your house extra cold. But this is about a temperature of a house. 72 degrees, 71 degrees to 78. So that's why people like them, because you don't really need a heat lamp. You don't need to heat them at all. They just live basically in the house. You just got to keep it nice and moist in there. Spray system or spray it down every day. I have a spray system, so you don't have to worry about that stuff. Like I said, I use a bioactive enclosure, but let's see some enclosures we could find online here. Here are some crested gecko enclosures you could do. Like they said, high is probably the best. That looks pretty cool. That one's really high. See, these are all cool. You want bioactive, you want plants. That's just the way it is. Alright, so here are some common mistakes people make when caring for crested geckos. The handling. Handling a crested gecko too roughly or suddenly can cause stress or injury. Crested geckos have fragile tails that can detach if grabbed or pulled. Instead, allow your gecko to explore your hand at its own pace, gradually increasing handling time. Yeah, so you don't want to grab it because they will drop their tail and then you'll have a chicken butt gecko. But while the tail's dropped, it's got an open wound and you don't want it to get infected. So dropping tails is just, you don't want at all. Most of the time they drop tails, so it's hard to say never let it drop tails, but you don't want that. Crested geckos need an ambient humidity of 50 to 80%. You could use a digital. Yeah, so 50 to 80% is a little hard. Get a spray system. You get one on Amazon for like 20 bucks. Spray system, hook it up, have it go off every 4 or 5 hours, and you'll be good. And if you have some live plants in there, it'll be even better. Dehydration. Dehydrated crested geckos have wrinkly skin. You can help your gecko hydrate by offering a bath in lukewarm water. I've never bathed my gecko. He's always been pretty hydrated. But I guess if you want, you could do that. I don't know how well your gecko's going to handle being in a lukewarm water bath, but it's up to you. Weigh your gecko weekly. A sudden loss of weight indicate illness. You should also keep a record of your gecko's feeding habits, behavior, and shedding. Yeah, so most crested geckos, they eat like a rapashi or a crested gecko diet that you mix in. It's like a little smoothie and they eat it up. It has fruits and calcium and vitamins and all that stuff. My crested gecko eats a lot of insects, honestly. He likes insects more. I do feed him I always have a bowl of his rapashi in there, but he loves chasing crickets. I put like 2 or 3 crickets in there every couple of days. Let him eat that, and he loves it. Dust him with some calcium powder with D3. Gets his calcium needed, and he's pretty happy. He's a pretty happy guy. Some other things to keep in mind about crested gecko include a healthy crested gecko has clear, bright eyes, smooth skin, no kinks in its tail or spine. That would indicate melobotic bone disease, or if that's how you say it, I don't know. Crested gecko could change color to camouflage. Not really, it just fires up and fires down, basically. Gets brighter in color than dull in color. If you notice any health concerns, consult a reptile veterinarian experienced in treating crested geckos. Big takeaways: crested geckos will drop their tail when stressed and it will not grow back. Biggest takeaway. Also, don't use heat. That's one way to kill it. Don't let it get too cold. That's one way to kill it. And if you could do that, which is pretty easy, you will have a happy, healthy crested gecko. So, with that being said, guys, that was the species highlight of the crested gecko. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you want to see more of these types of videos, these species highlights, species spotlights. And, yeah, subscribe to the channel. I'm a growing channel. Any subscription, like, or comment will help. Let me know if you like videos like this. I can make more. Check out my build videos where I build my leopard gecko's enclosure here. I did a little update. I built my Ackie monitor's enclosure, and we're building more, and I'm going to be coming out with more of those too. I did a Terrifier 3 enclosure build for my Pac-Man frog. We got a lot of cool stuff coming, guys. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And have a wonderful, wonderful day.